welcome back to Consider Jennifer. I am Jennifer Meyer. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I wanted to do a video today, and as you've seen, the title of the video is Healing and Choices. It's important. It's an important topic that I wanted to share about. When I was in when I was finishing my master's degree in library science, one of the first classes that we took was on information literacy. Information literacy is really just the ability to find, evaluate, and then apply information in your life. It's anything really. It can range from, trying to find a doctor to writing a research paper on the history of World War II. It's about anything. And I was so surprised that written down as the first step in being information literate was realizing that you needed information, that there was a need for you to have information, and then actually going out and getting it. That was so weird to me. I'm like, why would that be written down? That is the most obvious thing ever. Why would you look for information if you didn't need it? And why wouldn't you look if you needed it? It didn't make any sense to me. It was just, it really felt kind of dumb to have to put that on the list. But as I moved through the program, and as I was thinking about those steps and that process and watching people, it became really clear why that was on the list. And the reason for that is because it's amazing how many people don't do that. Crazy amazing that people don't do that. That they sit there, they have an issue, they have a problem, they have just something that's not going well in their life, and they don't think that there's a reason for them to look for something that might make it better or make it go away. It didn't connect in their brain that there was maybe information that they needed, that they were missing something. And so they didn't look for anything. And they just sit there. They just sit there in their life with this thing and not try to do anything about it. And the reason they didn't do anything about it is because they didn't recognize that it was possible. The solution to their problem was not real, or it was something that they would never be able to do, and so there was no point in trying, or whatever. But they got it in their head, and they just didn't think to look. And that is so important with everything in our lives, including healing, because the first step in doing anything is in deciding that we can, and we want to, and we're capable of doing it. We forget the choices that we have in those processes in our lives. And so when it comes to healing, I want to talk about two specific choices that we have. And the first one is just that. It's deciding to do it. It's recognizing that if we made a decision to heal, something in our lives would be better. We would feel better, we would have more, we would experience better, whatever. It would make a positive improvement in our lives. The second decision that we have to make is on the meaning that we give things. And these two decisions are so important. They are so critical, because without them, nothing can really shift. And it's equally important, or maybe doubly important, when it comes to the topic of healing, because healing's not easy. Healing requires something of you. It demands a certain amount of honesty and sincerity and vulnerability to get there. Just like any other change, it's something that people say they want until they remember that it's uncomfortable to do it. And then they don't want to do it anymore. And healing can be not just uncomfortable, but really painful, depending on what it is that you need to heal. And so people don't want to go there. I have mentor who used to say that it's very rare we get up in the morning, have our coffee, read the newspaper, and then decide that we're going to jump into hell. And we do a lot right now to avoid uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, most of our modern existence has created for us easy escapes and distractions so that we don't have to deal with things that are uncomfortable. And unfortunately, or maybe it's fortunate, right? But it's the uncomfortable things that help us grow. They make us better. We're the best versions of ourselves when we go through these uncomfortable processes, come out on the other side and have a more positive experience having gone through the process, however uncomfortable it was, right? And so the ease that we can avoid those uncomfortable things is really kind of a hindrance, and we really have to be on purpose and deliberate with saying that we want to do it because it's worth it. You know, we recognize that something in our lives right now in this moment's not working. It's not jiving, it's not helpful, it's not good, it's not whatever word, right? And with that recognition, we also believe that it's possible for us to do something that will actually make it better, that will create an improvement for us. And doing that so that a person can heal is the most critical first step in creating significant change in your life so that you can feel more fulfilled and more joyful through your day, through your week, through your month, through your years, through the existence of your life, you know? And we forget that we need to make those choices. We don't always spend a lot of time taking a step back and considering our lives and saying, is there something here that I could improve upon that would make a difference in how I feel, how I act, how I think, that I show up better because I've done that. So that's the first decision. That's the first choice I want to talk about in terms of healing. The second choice when it comes to healing is the meaning that we give things. Now, y'all, you need to understand something. Really, this is what you do. Like, we create meaning so effortlessly that we forget that all of those meanings are choices we've made. You've made a decision about what something means to you. I don't care what happened, you decided it meant something. It's not preordained fact. It is not that way because that's the way all of those things are. You have a choice in doing this. It's what our brains do. It's what we are designed to do, is to create meaning. And we do this all the time with everything, constantly. And because we do it with everything, and because we do it so seamlessly, we forget they're choices. They're choices, man. It doesn't have to be what you've decided it is. You can change your mind. It is a belief. It's a belief you have about something that's happened. And that's it. And you can make that belief, you can create that choice and that meaning to be anything. To be anything. And we forget that. We forget that, and then we don't recognize the power in that. Because when it comes to healing, when you make a decision about what something means, that gives you the power to invest in making it better, because you've found something within it that propels you to look at the world differently. And it keeps you from sitting in that space of regret or despair or victimhood or whatever the hell it is that you're sitting in, right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Choosing that meaning is what allows you to become the victor of your life instead of the victim of your life. And this is so important, and we forget all the time that we're doing it with everything. When my son was 3, he was diagnosed with autism, and that was That was hard. That was an experience that I ended up needing to heal from. I remember sitting in the evaluation after the review, the overview of the evaluation, the first evaluation he had, and I just cried. I went through so much denial. Like, my son doesn't have autism. He doesn't act like somebody who has autism, right? I naively believed that I knew enough about it that I could deny the reality of my experience. And I did, violently, for months. I couldn't do anything that was helpful or productive. For months after that evaluation, after that diagnosis, and I was hurting so bad because of it. Now, looking back on that experience, I was grieving. I was grieving my child, a child that I thought I was going to have that I didn't have. I was grieving this experience for my son. I felt bad that he was going to have to suffer. All of these meanings in my head that was coming up that I had created, again, effortlessly, seamlessly, and not recognizing that there was anything that I could do that would make it better. It was just the way that it is. And so I was screwed, right? And my son was screwed. And I spent so much time asking myself those questions. I asked myself why. Why me? Why my son? Why this? Why now? All of it. And it was a real challenge getting out of that space. And how it happened was the simple decisions. Simple, not easy. The simple decisions that I made as I took time to consider what was happening in my life. And what I realized at one day, I woke up and I realized that through my son's autism, I was learning in a very powerful way what it meant for somebody to see the world differently than me. For someone to see the world completely differently from me. And that was game-changing realization for me, that I recognized that his view of the world and my view of the world were so different, and that there was a lot of learning that could happen in this space now. Like, I could grow and I could learn, and because I could learn and I could grow in this thing, then I could become more empathetic. I could become more understanding. I could become more compassionate. Powerfully good things that I wanted for myself. And because I was able to see that as an option, I was able to redefine what my son's autism meant to me. And now it wasn't this debilitating thing. I was able to give it a meaning that allowed us to bring something positive out of this experience, so that I wasn't sitting in this despair and this guilt and this sadness because he was going to be different, or he was going to have a terrible life, or whatever it was that I had created in my head that was just nonsense. No basis in fact at all. Just something that I had decided I was going to believe about what was happening, right? And shifting that meaning into, this is happening so that I can learn what it is to see behind somebody else's eyes. This is an opportunity for me to grow in intimacy, or with empathy and understanding and compassion, and choosing to make the meaning about it be about that. Everything in my world changed. And that healing process was so deep and so profound that it's completely shifted things in my life that I would have never shifted otherwise. It's opened doors for me in ways that I would have never thought to go down. I would have never thought to go through that door, simply because I allowed myself the opportunity to redefine what this experience meant to me and why it was happening and what I could do about it, and choosing to do it, letting myself realize that it could be better if I would make this shift. and then doing the work to make the shift. Now, I said it was simple, and it is. It's easy. They're easy choices. It's not complicated, but it is so hard because it's emotionally taxing. It brings up in us insecurities and fears that have to be loved and looked at and acknowledged and given another outlet. It can be tiring. It's exhausting to heal. But on the flip side of the process is a life that's free of those fears and free of that sadness and free of that guilt, and you feel empowered and inspired by this thing that before was a real detriment to you and your life and your relationships and all of the ways that it touches you. And so it's so important. It's so important to take the time to recognize these two choices in your life. And you know what? They come up in lots of ways. They come up in lots of ways, in lots of places, and they will always be there. But with healing, it's so important because oftentimes people don't know that they need to heal. They kid themselves into thinking that everything is okay. And just like that person who, doesn't know that they need to find information, often we don't recognize that there's something inside of us that needs to be healed. And you know what? We all have something. I mean, you didn't get through your life into adulthood and not get hurt in a profound way. Everybody has. And you know what? Maybe it's not even an emotional healing. Maybe it's something physical that you're dealing with, or spiritual, or whatever it is. But there's something there. There's something there that if you would look at it and love it and give it a new meaning and allow it to bring up the best parts of you, there's something in you that if you were to do that, your life would be better because of it. You would feel more joy. You would feel more fulfilled. You would be more content going through that journey, going on that journey. Everybody would. So that's what I wanted to share today. And, if you need help going on the journey, it doesn't need to be an isolated one. Find people that can support you through it. Get a coach. Here I am, right? And I love helping people get through these processes. It's a real joy for me. Other people, friends, family, find the people in your life that can honor your growth, that can honor your changing, that can call you out on your bullshit when you're not doing it right, or they think you can do better. Surround yourself with those people to help you get through the journey. It's not that it's easy. Well, it's not that it's, it is, it's not easy. But it doesn't have to be complicated. And you do probably need support. So reach out for it, find it. Link back to my blog on this. I talk a little bit about this on my blog. Reach out if you need help. You can DM me or book now. Your first appointment is free. It's a good way to examine some things in your life, and that's what I'm all about, because if you don't spend time doing that, then you're missing out on things that could be so good. So good. So take the time to do that. Think about this. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below. Find me on social at Jennifer, on Instagram and Facebook. I'd really love to connect. And, everybody have a really great day. Don't forget, guys, please, please, please consider your life and be on purpose. Bye.